Imagine standing in a crowded room, laughter everywhere, conversations buzzing, phones glowing, yet inside, you feel completely invisible. Not sad enough for anyone to notice, not loud enough to be remembered, just quietly existing while the world moves around you. That feeling, that silent ache, is one of the most common experiences of modern life, and almost no one talks about it honestly. You smile when people look at you. You nod at the right moments. You even laugh when you're supposed to. But deep down there, a strange thought repeating itself. Why do I still feel alone? This is not weakness. This is psychology. And once you understand what's really happening in your mind, everything starts to make sense. Welcome to Mind in Shadow, where we explore the hidden parts of human behavior most people are afraid to face. If this topic feels personal, if you've ever felt unseen in a room full of people, take one second right now to like this video and subscribe, because the ideas here might explain parts of you that you've never been able to put into words. People who feel lonely around others are often not introverts, not shy, not broken. In fact, many of them are the ones who listen the most, who observe the most, who understand others deeply. But here's the painful twist. The deeper your mind, the harder it becomes to feel understood. You start noticing the gap between surface-level talk and real connection. Small talk feels empty. Forced laughter feels fake. Compliments feel shallow. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to emotionally disconnect while physically staying present. You're there, but you're not really there. Your body is in the room, but your mind is somewhere else, watching everything from a distance. Psychologists call this emotional isolation. And it can feel even more painful than being alone because, at least when you're physically alone, your brain expects silence. But when you're surrounded by people and still feel lonely, your brain starts asking dangerous questions. What's wrong with me? Why don't I belong? Why does everyone else seem connected except me? That's where the spiral begins. And here's the part no one tells you. People who feel lonely in crowds are often the most self-aware individuals. They're hyper-aware of their tone, their words, their expressions, how others might perceive them. That constant self-monitoring creates mental exhaustion. While others are just being, you are performing. While others are relaxed, you are analyzing. And over time, that performance starts to feel like a wall between you and everyone else. You want connection, but you also fear being truly seen, because being seen means being vulnerable, and vulnerability feels risky when you've been misunderstood before. So you stay guarded, you stay polite, you stay fine, and people assume you're okay because you've mastered the art of looking okay. But inside, there's a quiet story playing. You waiting for someone to ask the real questions, to notice the silence behind your smile, to hear the things you never say out loud. And when that moment doesn't come, you retreat further into your own mind. What makes this even more intense is that the brain of a lonely person often replays social moments on loop. Hours after a conversation ends, you're still thinking about what you said, what you shouldn't have said, how they looked at you, whether you sounded strange. That mental replay strengthens the feeling that you're different, disconnected, separate. And the more you feel separate, the harder it becomes to open up next time. It's a psychological trap. You crave connection. But your mind protects you from rejection by keeping you emotionally distant. The scariest part? Most people around you have no idea. They see you sitting there, present, functional, smiling, and they assume you're fine. They don't see the invisible wall. They don't hear the thoughts. They don't feel the weight. That's why loneliness in crowds is so powerful, because it's silent, invisible, and deeply misunderstood. But here is the shift that can change everything. Loneliness is not proof that you are unworthy of connection. It's often proof that you are wired for depth in a world obsessed with surface. Your mind is not looking for noise, it's looking for meaning. Your heart is not looking for attention, it's looking for authenticity. And once you realize that, you stop blaming yourself and start understanding yourself. You begin to see that maybe you don't feel lonely because you're broken, but because you haven't found your people yet. The ones who speak your language. It's the ones who value silence. It's the ones who don't require you to perform. And that realization alone can be powerful enough to pull you out of the mental fog. If any part of this feels real to you, you're not alone in feeling alone, even if it feels like you are. Thousands of people watching this right now are quietly nodding along, recognizing themselves in these words. And that shared recognition is where real connection begins. Near the end of this video, I want you to pause and ask yourself one honest question. How many times have you been surrounded by people, but still felt emotionally invisible? If you're comfortable, share your experience in the comments, not because you owe anyone your story, but because someone else reading it might finally feel understood for the first time. And if you know someone who smiles in public but feels distant inside, share this video with them. Sometimes a single video can say the things we've been unable to express for years. This is Mind in Shadow, and here your inner world is seen, even when the rest of the room never noticed.